Hi everyone, so I started off with a doll that I'd removed the factory paint on. This was like a High School Musical Gabriella doll. And what I did is I took a roll of epoxy sculpt and used that to form the main opening for the mouth around the head. I decided to sort of combine like inspiration from like Leviathans, from Supernatural, the Hungry Helen I made, the Sugar Plum Fairy from Cabin in the Woods. I sort of combined those together to make my own creature, and this is what I came up with. So first of all, I smoothed down all that epoxy sculpt with water and my finger. This just gives the basic sort of mouth shape to the creature, and it starts the process of hiding the face on the doll underneath. Doesn't really matter what doll you pick for this. It would have been ideal if I'd got one that was a bit more articulated, but I didn't have one at the time, so that's what I was using, so never mind. But as you can see, it's going to work out fine anyway, it doesn't matter. It just means it's less posable, but because it's a Barbie head, I can probably pop the head off and stick it on another body at a later date when I get a better body, but for now, it will do. I then added a layer of epoxy sculpt over the whole face of the doll just to hide the facial features, and then I added another sort of line of the epoxy sculpt to the mouth to make the lips and the mouth stick up a bit further away from the face of the doll. This just disguises the face of the doll and makes it look more like a giant mouth. So if you're doing something like this, basically you're going to want the mouth to stick out further than the nose on the doll, unless you remove the nose on the doll first, which I could have done in, looking back in hindsight, but never mind. Anyway, I added another layer of epoxy sculpt and smoothed that all down. All I'm doing to smooth it down is I dip my finger in some water and then smooth it all down all over the surface of the epoxy clay and just shape it with my fingers. And I've got my little nail art dotting tools, which I find really useful for sculpting things out of clay, especially at this tiny size, and use those just to help me smooth down the edges and blend the edges in. So as you can see, I've got these little dotting tools of various sizes. Then what I did was created a tongue shape in the middle. And what I did is I just added an extra piece of clay first of all, just in the general sort of tongue shape, and then I refined the shape a bit more later on. So I'm just checking what it looks like from the side and shaping the lips a bit more. And all you do is you keep shaping the lips until you're happy with the shape and the expression on the mouth. And one advantage about doing a creature like this is you haven't got to worry about eyes or anything. You can just have all the fun making the big scary monster mouth. So I'm just checking and making sure it's all blended in all the way around. You want to get the edges as smooth as you possibly can. And then as you can see, my lighting's terrible at the moment, sorry about that, but as you can see there's a tongue in the middle now. And then what I did was I created a load of little teeth, again just out of epoxy sculpt, and just added those bit by bit to the mouth. You'll see later on, unfortunately I didn't mix the epoxy sculpt for long enough, so it didn't form properly, it didn't blend properly, which meant that after 48 hours the epoxy sculpt teeth still hadn't set, and I left it 2 days to set just in case, thinking it was just going to take a bit longer because I'd used lots of water. But no, it was because I'd mixed the epoxy sculpt wrong. So make sure that you definitely do 50-50, which I had done, but you've got to blend it and mix it together for 2 minutes, which is what I didn't do. I just quickly blended it together and stuck the teeth on, which is why it didn't work. So if I'd have done it properly, this is how I would have created the teeth. As you can see, I'll do it again later on, so I'll show you how I fixed the problem. But what I did was created the little teeth and then just used the end of a needle, which I've got just like a embroidery needle, and just use that to push the teeth into place and to blend the clay in with the lip area, and just repeated that over and over again until I was satisfied with the amount of teeth that I'd got. You want nice long spiky teeth, and space them out but not too far out. You don't want it to look like she's got no teeth. And I did spend a long time on this actually, which is a shame, but you live and learn. So yeah, all you do is create as many teeth as you want. You can have anywhere between, I'd say, about 8 and 10, something like that. I found if you got less than 8 teeth, it looks really weird. So it's best off to have between 8 and 10 teeth, and have them varying sizes as well. Don't do them all the same size, else it'll look weird as well. You want some longer, some shorter. I tend to do like the sort of canines a bit longer, and then what I did was I removed the teeth once I discovered they hadn't set properly. I painted the inside of the mouth black and the tongue a sort of pinky colour. And then what I did was created separate teeth out of epoxy sculpt, and all you do is you roll the little tiny pieces of epoxy sculpt on your table, and then one end you just roll a bit more than the others and press a bit harder, and you form a point. So as you can see, I've got horns and I've painted the mouth, just basic blocking the paints in, blocking the colour in I should say. Then I glued the teeth in place with some super glue once they'd dried, and then it was just a case of using a fleshy type of tone to paint the rest of the head. I wasn't too worried about it matching spot on. On camera it looks a bit yellowified, but I did do washes of like a sort of crimson colour and some burnt umber afterwards to blend it in a little bit more with the Barbie body. But I will change her outfit at some point, so that's not such a a big priority. I just did something simple, like just the head. Like I said, inspired kind of by the Sugar Plum Fairy from Cabin in the Woods, where she looks perfectly normal everywhere else. It's just this big monster face that she's got. So my idea with this doll is that from behind it looks like a girl doll, nothing nothing out of the ordinary, but then she turns around and is like, yeah, you can see the monster and everything. I kind of like that idea of looking normal. It looks normal from the back and then a monster from the front. Then I just put her Gabriella outfit back on and just did her hair, and that's the monster I created. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.